I almost didn't make this video, not because I was actually busy, although that's the excuse I have been recycling, but I actually sat down, looked at my setup and felt the very specific kind of resistance, the kind where even pressing the record button feels like a personal attack. But here you are anyways, you're watching and here I am talking again, and together we are planning that this is all going according to plan. It has been a while and things have been happening. Projects, deadline, the usual slow accumulation of responsibilities that sounds impressive when summarized and really exhausting when lived through. One of them is finally out, which means I can return to do what I do best. Overanalyzing small objects while ignoring the larger life decisions. So today we are looking at the Kefine Loric, an entry-level piece that promises to over-deliver, which at this point feels less like a feature and more like a warning. I mean, everything says that they over-deliver. Well, let's start with the unboxing process. It's simple, a box with sleeve, a render on the front, and on the back, a list of specifications that look important enough to justify their existence, but not important enough for anybody to remember. Inside, everything is laid out neatly in foam. Beneath that, two sets of ear tips, a case which thankfully opens without requiring emotional resilience, and some literature that will remain untouched for the rest of its life, and perhaps mine. That's it. No unnecessary extras, no distractions, just what you need presented without enthusiasm. Build quality is actually straightforward. The body is plastic, paired with a metal faceplate that's silver and slightly raised. There is a bit of a bulge, really. Not excessive, just enough to make you aware of it. Tasteful. Nothing to be concerned about with. The lower half is transparent, which lets you see what is inside. The driver sitting there like it has been carefully preserved for reasons no one fully explained. It's oddly satisfying to look at, like staring into something that understands its purpose better than you do. You are not getting something indestructible here. It's not built like to survive poor decisions. Half plastic means exactly what you think it means. Treat it well and it will remind you that you should have. Inside is a single 10mm dynamic driver. This driver uses a PET base with a PVD titanium coating, not just full titanium, just a thin layer that adds rigidity without unnecessary weight. Around it is a PU surround, which helps create a more immersive presentation. There are dual magnets inside for higher magnetic flux, which improves responsiveness, and a dual chamber structure, both front and rear, for airflow management. It is all very deliberate, carefully designed, quietly competent. The cable isn't specified, which usually means expectations should be quite grounded, but it looks good, silver with red and green spirals running through it. Subtle, but enough to remind you that somebody actually made an effort. It handles quite well, it doesn't really tangle, it does not fight back against you, a rare quality. Visually, it avoids unnecessary chaos, no loud graphics, no identity crisis, just an overall clean design that doesn't assume anything about you. And now, sound. This is where it either justifies itself or quietly becomes irrelevant. The Loric is actually quite easy to recommend. Bass has a solid foundation with good sub-bass presence, supported by a mid-bass that adds weight without going overboard. It's not bass heavy, but it's also far from lacking. When needed, it delivers impact and control. And there is also good texture, not just noise shaped like bass, but actual detail, subtle variations that make it feel intentional rather than exaggerated. The mid-range carries a slight warmth, vocals come through smooth with a somewhat liquid quality that makes everything feels cohesive. There's detail here, but it does not force itself forward. It is also rather forgiving. Poor recordings don't immediately fall apart, instead they are softened. It just rounded off just enough for them to make them listenable without completely hiding their flaws. Resolution is better than expected, not aggressive, not analytical, just quietly outperforming its price. The treble is extended but controlled, present without being sharp, detailed without becoming tiring. It's tuned in a way that won't overwhelm someone new to this kind of sound. Safe but intentionally so. Soundstage. The soundstage is actually respectable. There is a sense of width and a bit of height, giving things room to breathe. Separation could be a bit better, but it stays within expectations at this level. Nothing absolutely tremendously remarkable, nothing disappointing either. It is just very functional in the way that it needs to be. Next comparisons, comparing against the Tangzu Wan'er S.G Red Lion, feels less like a competition and more like a choice in priorities. Now the Tangzu Wan'er Red Lion leans heavy into bass, more impact, more presence, more everything in that region, but it also sacrifices some clarity and extension to be specific to get there. The Loric balances itself. It doesn't chase extremes, it doesn't try to impress immediately, it just presents everything in a way that feels complete. If you want overwhelming bass, then go for the Tangzu Wan'er S.G Red Lion. Anyways, the name is wrong, not correct for the Tangzu anyways, so you know my thoughts on that. If you want something that works across most situations without consistently reminding you of its limitations, this is the better choice. Of course, the Loric has some downsides. The accessories aren't particularly extensive, some people will want more, but I'd rather they put an effort into the part that actually matters than into extras that end up forgotten. In the end, this feels like a starting point. A competent step into something better. And sometimes that is more than enough. I give the Loric a A+. It's not because it's perfect, but because it exactly understands what it is, and more importantly, what it isn't. This is a very solid entry-level earphone for those of you starting out. With that said, thank you guys so much for watching a Super Chunk Super Audio Show. I hope to see you guys again soon, and hopefully for me to be a bit more regular on the channel. See you.